You know that feeling? It is 11:30 on a Tuesday morning. You are at your desk, maybe you are scrolling through your banking app, wincing a little at the balance after that unexpected car repair last week, and you decide to take a quick break. You wander into the break room, or maybe you are just scrolling through Instagram during lunch and you see it. Or maybe you see them. It is that coworker, you know the one. Let us call him Dave. Dave is talking about his weekend. He is not talking about hiking a local trail or reading a book. He is talking about flying to Chicago for a steak dinner, or he is wearing a watch that costs more than your 2005 Honda Civic. And just like that, the spiral starts. You sit there, sipping your lukewarm coffee, thinking, how is he doing that? We make the same salary. We sit in the same meetings. We complain about the same boss. I grocery shop with coupons and he is eating dry-aged beef on a layover in O'Hare. It feels like you missed a memo. It feels like everyone else got a secret handbook on how to adult successfully, and you are still stuck in the tutorial level. It is isolating, honestly. It makes you feel like you are failing, even if you are doing everything right. My name is Bob, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, human psychology, and why some people seem to glide through financial challenges, while others are constantly stressed about their bank account balance. And I have been that person staring at the credit card statement wondering where the money went, so I get it. But what I have learned, by digging into the weird, uncomfortable details of personal finance, is that things are rarely what they look like from the outside. We are about to pull back the curtain on your coworkers' finances, and trust me, the view is not pretty. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it might just change everything for you. So let us get into it. Let us talk about the ugly truth behind the lifestyles you see every day. The first thing you have to understand is that when you look at Dave's life, you are evaluating it based on assets, the car, the watch, the apartment, but Dave is living his life based on monthly cash flow. This is a fundamental disconnect that causes so much envy. You see a $50,000 BMW, he sees a $550 monthly payment. You see a $3,000 designer bag. She sees a manageable $80 a month on a credit card. It is basically a magic trick. It is a sleight of hand. The entire modern economy is designed to obscure the total cost of things and make you focus only on what you have to part with right now and your coworkers. A lot of them have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. I remember reading a story about a guy who worked in finance, super high stress, high income environment. Everyone in the office drove Porsches and wore bespoke suits. He drove a beat-up Toyota. He finally cracked and asked his boss how everyone afforded it. His boss laughed and said, "None of us own anything. We just have great credit limits." That stuck with me. It completely shifted my perspective. When you see someone affording a luxury lifestyle on a middle-class salary, they usually aren't affording the item. They are renting their lifestyle from the bank, Visa, or MasterCard. They are effectively paying a subscription fee to look rich. And the subscription fee is eating their entire future. Why does this matter to you? Because it is easy to beat yourself up when you compare your insides, your struggling bank account, your student loans to everyone else's outsides, their vacations, their clothes. But if you could see their credit card statements, you would not be envious. You would be terrified. You would see interest rates of 24%, minimum payments that barely touch the principal, and a net worth that is deep in the red. Stop looking at the price tag of their life and start asking, what is the monthly payment on that stress? Because I promise you, the stress is included. Okay, let us move on to the second big reason, which is honestly a bit more psychological. It is this pervasive idea of you only live once, or YOLO. And listen, I am all for living life. I love experiences. I love good food. But YOLO has been hijacked. It used to mean take that risk, start that business, go on that adventure. Now it just means buy that thing you cannot afford because regret is a worse feeling than debt. I have noticed this with a lot of younger coworkers, honestly. There is this kind of fatalism, like The economy is messed up, housing is impossible, so why bother saving? I might as well enjoy this avocado toast and this $15 cocktail, right now. It is a form of financial nihilism, and honestly, I get it. Sometimes it feels like the finish line is moving further away no matter how fast you run, so why run at all? But here is the problem. The future does arrive, eventually. And when it does, it is usually expensive. You get older, your back hurts, you want to buy a house, you have kids. Or maybe you just want the freedom to quit a job you hate. And if you have spent the last 10 years spending everything you have because YOLO, you are stuck. You are handcuffed to a desk you hate because you need the direct deposit to service the debt from the good times you had 5 years ago. It is like eating dessert for dinner every night. For the first month, it feels amazing. You feel like you are winning at life. 3 years in, you feel sick, you are sluggish, and your body is breaking down. Financial health works the exact same way. I knew a girl once, let us call her Sarah. Sarah made decent money, but every time she got a bonus, it was gone in a weekend. A spa days, front row concert tickets, designer shoes. Her rationale was always, I work hard, I deserve this, and she did work hard. She deserved nice things. But she was prioritizing the immediate dopamine hit over her long-term peace of mind. She was borrowing happiness from tomorrow to pay for today. When she got laid off during a restructuring, she had zero cushion. Zero. The lifestyle she afforded vanished in weeks because it was never real. It was just a stream of income flowing directly out the door. Enjoy your life, absolutely. But do not confuse living in the moment with stealing from your future self. The most liberating money you will ever have is not the money you spend on a flashy purse. It is the money you have sitting in the bank that gives you the option to walk away. This one is tough to talk about because it is invisible, and it can be infuriating. Sometimes your coworkers can afford their lifestyle because they are not paying for everything. You have to factor in the bank of mom and dad. We do not like to talk about this because it feels unfair. And honestly, it is unfair. Two people can sit in the same cubicle, doing the same job, making the same $60,000 a year. But one of them has student loans, pays full market rent, and pays for their own car insurance. The other? Their parents paid off their loans, they pay a subsidized rent to live in a property their parents own, and they are still on the family cell phone plan. I remember realizing this a few years into my career. I was frustrated that a friend of mine could travel so much. I was doing the math, and the numbers did not add up. Then I found out he did not have any student debt because his parents had refinanced their house to pay for his college. He did not have a secret side hustle. He did not have magical discipline, he just had a head start. A massive one. Or consider the people who get help with down payments. You see them buy a nice condo at 28. Wow, you think, they must save so much. Meanwhile, their parents gifted them $40,000 for the down payment. That is not savings. That is a transfer of wealth. It looks like financial success, but it is actually intergenerational privilege. I am not saying this to make you bitter or to discount their hard work. Many people with help still work hard, but you have to stop. Comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 5, especially if they had a ghostwriter. If you are building your life from scratch, paying your own way, dealing with your own debt, you are doing something much harder and much more impressive than the person floating on a safety net. You are building a foundation that will not collapse if the support gets pulled away. When you look at someone's financial life, ask yourself what you cannot see. If they have advantages you do not have, comparing your results to theirs is a game you are rigged to lose. Play your own game. Here is a scenario you might know. You have a coworker who makes significantly more than you. Maybe they are a director or a VP, or they just joined a competitor for a big pay bump. And they do have money. They have the nice house, the Tesla, the timeshare. They can afford it, but the cost is not financial, it is temporal. They are trading 80 hours a week for that lifestyle. They are checking emails at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. They are missing their kids' soccer games. They are on blood pressure, medication at 35. We often forget that time is a currency too, and in some ways, it is the only currency that actually matters. You can always make more money, but you cannot make more Tuesday afternoons. I had a mentor, a guy who was very successful by every metric. Huge house, expensive cars, country club membership. We were grabbing coffee once, and he just looked exhausted. I mean, truly shattered. He told me, Bob, I make enough money to buy anything I want, but I do not have the time to enjoy any of it. I am working to pay for a lifestyle I am too busy to live. That hit me like a ton of bricks. It completely deconstructed my definition of affording. If you can buy a boat, but you can never take it out of the dock because you are working, do you really own a boat, or are you just its caretaker? When you look at your coworkers and envy their stuff, you are seeing the reward. You are not seeing the sacrifice. You are not seeing the missed anniversaries, the stress-induced insomnia, or the creeping feeling that they are on a treadmill that is going a little too fast to jump off. There is a massive difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is about the money coming in. Being wealthy is about the freedom you have. Do not envy someone who has a high income if they have zero freedom. You might be poorer on paper, but if you have your evenings and weekends free, you are richer than you think. This brings me to the most common reality, the one that is honestly the most likely explanation for your co-workers' lifestyles. It is the silent struggle, the dirty little secret of the middle class. Debt does not have a look. You cannot look at someone and see the $20,000 in credit card debt they are carrying at 18% interest. You cannot see the personal loan they took out to consolidate their medical bills. You cannot see that they are paying $600 a month just for the privilege of having poor credit. People are incredibly good at masking financial trouble. We are social creatures. We want to fit in. We want to look successful. So we prioritize signaling success over actually being successful. We buy the suit to get the job. We buy the car to get the girl or guy. We buy the round of drinks to look like a big shot. And all of it is fueled by debt. I have seen people who look like millionaires get their car repossessed in the middle of the night. It is not an exaggeration. I read a statistic once that said a huge percentage of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. That is not affording a lifestyle. That is living one paycheck away from catastrophe. Think about it this way. If your coworker lost their job tomorrow, how long would they survive? A month? 2 weeks? That is the true metric of financial health, not the brand of sunglasses they are wearing. There is a concept in psychology called the Diderot effect. It is named after this French philosopher, Denis Diderot. He received a fancy new dressing gown as a gift. Suddenly his old robe looked shabby, so he replaced his rug, then his chair, then his desk. He spiraled into debt just because of that one initial gift, trying to make his environment match the new, expensive item. This happens to people all the time. They get a slightly better job, so they move to a slightly better apartment, which requires a slightly better car, which requires better clothes, which requires, you get the picture. It is a cycle of lifestyle creep that is nearly impossible to escape once you're on the hamster wheel. The next time you feel a pang of jealousy, remember that appearances are often a carefully constructed illusion. The quietest person in the office, the one with the modest car and the packed lunch, is often the one sleeping soundly at night. Do not aspire to the noise, aspire to the peace. Okay, I have to be fair. Not everyone is drowning in debt or living off their parents. Some of your coworkers are just hustling hard. They have a second job or a third job. They drive Uber on weekends. They resell clothes on Poshmark. They do freelance consulting. They are sacrificing their rest to fund their lifestyle. And look, if that brings them joy, that is great. But often, it does not. It is just a frantic attempt to keep up with the rising tide of expectations. I think about opportunity cost a lot. Every hour you spend driving a stranger to the airport is an hour. You are not sleeping, reading, learning, or just being. You are literally selling your life force for money. And if you are selling your life force just to maintain an image of success that impresses people you do not even like, that is a bad trade. There was a period where I was working 3 gigs. I was exhausted all the time. I was making decent money, but I had no time to spend it. I finally realized I was just running in circles. I stopped the extra gigs, cut my expenses, and felt lighter. Poorer, technically, but lighter. Hustle is good, but purposeless hustle is a trap. If your co-workers are working 80 hours a week to fund a lifestyle they have no time to enjoy, they are not affording it. They are paying for it with their life. So where does that leave us? We have peeled back the layers on the Dave with the BMW, the Sarah with the designer bags, the trust fund kids, and the workaholics. And what do we find? Almost invariably, it is stress, debt, exhaustion, or external support. The ugly truth is that most people who look like they have it all figured out are just one crisis away from falling apart. They are playing a game of musical chairs where the music never stops, and they are too afraid to sit down because they are terrified the music will stop when they do. And I know this might sound like I am telling you to be content with less, or that money does not matter. That is not what I am saying. Money matters, freedom matters, security matters, but the appearance of money, the projection of success, that is worthless. You need to pivot your focus. Stop looking at their highlight reel and comparing it to your behind-the-scenes footage. It is not a fair comparison, and it is a game designed to make you feel inadequate. Instead, focus on your own foundation.